Hey everyone, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. If you're looking to unwind without the hangover, check out Good Fuels. These are THC infused seltzers made with all natural ingredients, clean, crisp, and consistent every time. It's an easy, balanced way to relax, hang out with friends, or just vibe without the drawbacks of alcohol. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, we got an exclusive offer for all of our listeners, 20% off at shop.getgoodfuels.com when you use promo code SNUG at checkout. That's shop.getgoodfuels.com and you get 20% off with promo code SNUG at checkout. That's Good Fuels, real chill, no hangover, must be 21 and over.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Man, I gotta tell you guys, after tonight, I have that freaking song stuck in my head, that Trick Williams songs, them horns, man. Whoop that trick. I feel like I heard that song a whole bunch of times tonight on this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Welcome, everybody. It is time for the Snug Wrestling Podcast. We're going to review Friday Night SmackDown. We're a couple weeks away from WrestleMania. Literally 2 weeks. Today's the 3rd. WrestleMania is the 18th and 19th, I believe. So very exciting stuff. We're going to go over this episode of SmackDown with the Snug Crew. My name is Edgar. I'm the host. Toxic is not here tonight, but Mr. Blood is here and Tommy is here. Welcome, fellas.
Hey, doing great tonight. I'm in a great mood. I can't legally say why because I signed an NDA, but as far as it's concerned, I'm in a great mood. Life's looking upward. I'm also just extremely excited. As I was saying that, my peripheral vision went over to the left side of my camera because this is reversed. And I'm staring at my wrestling figures, right? My toys that are behind this entire shrine to pro wrestling behind this camera. And I am just like I am giddy because it is Mania season, baby. And we are literally 15 days away from night 1. And I could not be more excited. It's funny, every year for many years, there's always some kind of complaint about the WrestleMania build. There's always some kind of complaint about this, but the moment we get closer, when we start getting closer, the less I start realizing the problems it has, the more I start going, I just can't wait to be sitting there when the national anthem is over, the jets fly overhead. And then all of a sudden I hear that first ding, ding, ding. This match is scheduled for 1 fall. And I can't tell you how stoked I am that Mania came so fast this year. Bro, I'm in a great mood. SmackDown for me was a decent show, but overall, I am in the wrestling field.
I am feeling good other than the fact that Illinois decided to be a bitch to me 3 hours ago. So, naturally, Florida, Blood, is not the only one with a random 5th season. The Midwest in itself also has its tornado season, as I like to call it. So, legitimately, we just got done with our tornado watch that we were under. About 3 hours ago, we were under a tornado warning. So, it is very rare for us in Illinois to actively hear the tornado sirens. We did 3 hours ago. So, that's over now. But SmackDown in itself, I liked it. I can acknowledge it has some problems. We'll get to that first segment here in a bit because I've got some words for that one a little bit. But overall, the show, pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy, real quick, though, I mean, you're in Illinois, you got tornadoes. I'm in Florida, and I live 2 miles from the ocean. It's about to be hurricane season. and hurricanes don't just have hurricanes, brother. They also cause tornadoes. I remember Irma many years ago when it hit real quick. Me and my best friend were sitting outside smoking, and we were on live stream. 5 tornadoes touched down in my county at the same time that night. And we were sitting 300 feet away from the high school where a tornado came down Mustang Way and started ripping the covering off the 200-foot tall AT&T tower and threw one of the panels into the bus loop of the high school directly next to us. So I'll take you, tornadoes.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. Nah. All right, y'all, let's get into the show, man. We found out who Randy Orton has been talking on the phone with this whole entire time. Randy Orton kind of teased it on social media a couple days ago. No, yesterday maybe, leading up to this episode of SmackDown. And I'm glad we finally got the answer. Randy Orton kicked off the show. And at first I'm like, they're going to make us wait until the very end, right? But no, we found out right off the bat. Randy Orton cuts a promo on Cody. Cody comes out. He's hot. Cody comes after Randy. They start fighting again, just like last week. And Pat McAfee shows up out of nowhere. Low blow to Cody Rhodes. I was going to say low balls, but he fucking kicked Cody low in the balls, I should say. And man, they're just pulling out all the stops, I feel like, because not only did Pat McAfee return for WrestleMania, Pat McAfee turns heel and he cuts the damnest promo on Cody. Pretty much blames Cody for the direction that the WWE is headed right now. And he's like, this is for all of the forgotten wrestling fans of the Attitude Era. The fans that, grew up watching the Austins and the Rocks, the what. Nowadays it's not like that. Nowadays, like, we see these little guys, these fucking 5'5" guys, and WrestleMania hasn't sold out, but we have Randy Orton right here. And literally Pat McAfee was like, I did not want to come back because this product has turned to shit or something like that. Or I stopped watching because this product has turned to shit. And a lot of people agree with that, But I'm just thinking like, man, they are really going all out here for WrestleMania season. I think this was crazy that they did this. This was pretty risky, having Pat McAfee come out there and basically tell the truth.
I adore Pat McAfee. I love him. He's actually become my favorite WWE commentator right after JR of all time. It literally goes JR, McAfee, and then Michael Cole. Michael Cole post heel turn way back in the 2010s where he was insufferable. But Pat just has an energy that is incredible. Now, I love Pat. I don't know if I love him. The whole time I'm watching it, it's like a 15-minute segment from like Randy's entrance to where they're gone, and then Cody's like picking himself up off the ground with all the security trying to help him, and I genuinely was sitting there the whole time like thinking to myself, do I like this? Do I hate this? How do I genuinely don't know how I feel about it. I think I'll have to wait till next week to see where I lean, but it's weird, right? Because part of me is like, this is stupid. It makes no sense. Why is Pat here of all places? Last time we saw him, he was on Raw. Why is he on SmackDown? He literally sat there, Randy sat there a couple weeks ago and dropped the line about, why, Randy, because wrestling has, or why, Cody, wrestling has more than one royal family. Pat is not a generational superstar. So that didn't make sense to me. A few of these things didn't make sense to me. A lot of the choices in this story so far with Randy and Cody aren't making sense to me. Randy turning heel made sense. Raw on Monday, I didn't get to say it, but what? Like, Cody can physically grab and roughly yank Stephanie McMahon around in a circle and Triple H doesn't come out, but Oba, Femi, and Brock Lesnar are gonna hit each other, and now he's like, now I'll come out instead of coming out to defend his wife. Didn't make sense. Pat McAfee here doesn't make sense. Again, I'm not sure if I hate it or love it. The promo was interesting. It was cut very well. I'm not sure why it's the crux of the story. If Randy's entire purpose of turning on Cody originally was because he was chasing number 15, why does Pat spend so much time hearkening on Cody ruining the product not being good? And then he says, Randy isn't just here for number 15. He's here because he's going to save this fucking business. Okay, but then you just made Randy's entire initial reasoning for turning that he gave us, you're making it a footnote versus now it's not about really the 15th. Now it's about, oh, he's trying to save the industry from the Codys of the, and it doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not sure if I hate it. I'm also not sure if I love it. You know what I mean?
I don't like this at all. I really don't. I found this extremely dumb because my brain was set on one of three options. And Soto was the same way. He said that during his live stream. Three options were right there. Kevin Owens, The Rock, or Bob fucking Orton. And you decided to go, nope. We're going to go with a man that has no connection to either of these men whatsoever and just randomly put Pat McAfee. That's my biggest problem with this. But my secondary issue is the fact that this entire story is rehashed from last. I can absolutely tell it full blown right there. Because Rock come in with Travis Scott last year. Pat McAfee is in that same spot. It being over a title number. There you go. For Cena, it was 17. For Randy, it's 15. That's my biggest problem with all this, is that it feels like it's just rehashed and completely redone. It's a retelling from last year's Mania.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of people that were kind of underwhelmed by the fact that it was Pat McAfee. But let's be for real. If it was Randy Orton's dad, Bob Orton, like, they did that already fucking 20 years ago. This year in 2026, number one, he might be way too fucking old. Number two, I don't know if anyone's going to know who the fuck that is anymore.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say half that audience isn't going to know who the hell Bob Orton.
Kevin Owens is probably still injured or recovered or whatever. And The Rock is The Rock. If he didn't show up for WrestleMania last year, why the fuck would he show up this year, right?
And he's not going to show up for Randy and Cody when he's got CM Punk mouthing off about his dead relatives on Raw. I mean, you wouldn't come back to defend Sika, but you'll come back to hit Cody? Like, come on. You know, I still think it should have been Sammy. Sammy still made the most sense to turn heel here.
Yeah, but then we'll talk about Sammy later on. He's got his own thing going on. So, I mean, I did really enjoy the fact that it was Pat McAfee because he could be a really good heel. Pat McAfee's a great fucking performer. He's, you know, I think he's going to do great in this position. The whole thing about Randy Orton too, he was saying that, yes, it is about number 15, but also he was saying that Cody gave him the green light. Cody asked for this version of Randy. He wanted the old Randy. Well, you got him. This is the old Randy right here. The old Randy doesn't give a fuck. He'll take you out. And that's exactly what Randy is doing.
That's a retcon, though. That's what aggravates me. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that pisses me off. That they are trying to gaslight us into saying that Cody asked for this. I watched that contract signing twice. Cody never asked Randy for the old Orton. What he said was, and I know those voices in your head are speaking to you, and I know they're telling you, you know, this, that, third. He goes, and all I'm saying is, he's like, no matter what happens, I will always love you. He never sat there and said, I want you to listen to the voices in your head. I want the old legend killer back. He never said to Randy, I give you the green light to try to kill me. Because if he did say that, why on earth would then Cody then be like surprised and enraged that Randy attacked him? That's the thing that annoys me there.
Yeah. So yeah, this whole thing with Pat McAfee, again, man, I was just really shocked by the things that he was saying because I felt like Pat McAfee was really trying his best to get the people to boo him and Randy, and they just started cheering them more and more.
Yeah, they're the cool heels now.
I mean, yeah, dude, and I think this is going to be interesting for WrestleMania because people legitimately want to see Randy Orton win at WrestleMania, heel or not. You know, so
Well, the white meat babyface has died a death in modern wrestling. It's all about being an interesting heel or they want to see the anti-hero now. They don't care about the white meat baby faces anymore. They don't work nowadays. People want more intriguing characters. I will say this. The last person I want to be kicked in the balls by is an NFL fucking career kicker. I know that would hurt.
That's one of the things Cody said later on. But yeah, dude, I mean, if that's what the people want, they want the cool heels. That's what we're getting with Pat McAfee and Randy Orton, are we not?
I mean, we are. So, I mean, we're going to have to see where it goes. Again, I'm on the fence about this. I know Tommy hates it. Totally fair. I don't know if I love or hate this. Do you love this or hate this, Edgar?
I love it. I thought this is great.
Okay.
All right. What I didn't love was the first match of the night that I didn't think was so great was Rhea Ripley versus Michin. They had a crazy competitive match. Like at least 15 minutes it took Rhea Ripley to defeat Michin, which is odd because Rhea Ripley's getting ready to have a title match at WrestleMania versus Jade Cargill. I thought it was a bit much what they did in this match versus Michin. Michin was really protected here. She gave Rhea Ripley the battle of a lifetime, I felt like. But what did you guys think?
I mean, it doesn't really surprise me. We've seen Michin go 15, 20 minutes in hardcore matches over the last couple of years against the likes of Tiffany or Piper Niven, or she's versed, she's been in 10-minute long matches with Chelsea Green, or she even lasted quite a while with Jade Cargill. So I'm not surprised that she can at least go 15 minutes with Rhea Ripley. Again, and when you're in the ring, you got to realize just because you can beat one person more easily than another doesn't mean that person's weak. It just means that your skill set, your ability in the ring might be the water to that person's fire. So it's easier for you to shut another person down based on their wrestling style. Rhea has a very powerhouse style, but she's also a very, very good technician. But when you look at Michin is a brawler type. She's much more of a brawler. She's a striker. She's not a technician. She's not a cruiserweight. She's not a powerhouse. She's a brawler. So she's scrappier. She's got more stamina, probably more stamina than Rhea because she's also smaller. But when it comes down to it, I can see the likes of how Michin was harder for, was a bit harder for Jade to put her away because Jade is a straight powerhouse and nothing else. So all Michin has to do is beat her with speed and try to cut her down. When you go up against someone like Chelsea Green, if you're Michin, they're more of the similar style. They're both technically brawlers, but, Chelsea's still more of a technician. So it takes Chelsea a while to put her away because it's that fire versus that strategic instinct in the ring. With Rhea, she was meeting her match here with a striker, a brawler. And, Rhea's better at going up against people that are in her own style, the technicians, the powerhouses, because she can exploit their weaknesses because they're the same weaknesses she has. I thought the match was still, admittedly, surprisingly, I wouldn't say even, but definitely a lot more competitive than I ever thought they'd be. But I guess they're trying to rebrand Michin and B-Fab and make them more credible threats while they back up Jade Cargill. So, I mean, it worked, but I don't think we needed to turn two under Carter's heel to make Jade feel more credible because she didn't feel credible to begin with, and I don't think adding B-Fab and Michin is going to help her.
Especially when B-Fab and Michin aren't credible in themselves. So that's the biggest problem there. But this match, I don't know about it. I'm kind of Snug on it where I'm more mid-ground here simply because of how this match went. But I forgot this match was even announced before Rhea Ripley. I even watched the slide stuff. I saw that posted on Instagram and what exactly we were supposed to see tonight. And I completely forgot that they announced Rhea Ripley versus me. I completely forgot about it. So that was that was my biggest thing, is that it was forgettable from the start.
Yeah, I looked up the card before the show, maybe 4 hours before the show, so midday for me. there was only 3 things on the match card on multiple sources, and not one of them were matches. So I had no idea which matches were actually taking place tonight, which is weird. They usually announce like 2 or 3 ahead of time, but not tonight. So I don't know what that was about, but all right. They started to plant some seeds there with of tension between the MFTs. Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga are having some tension because Solo Sikoa is obsessed with the Bray Wyatt lantern that he took from the Wyatts recently, and he refuses to give it back. Tama Tonga keeps trying to tell Solo, bro, just give it back. It's messing with your head. It's just causing us problems. So Solo Sikoa tells, fine. He tells Tama Tonga, you go out there and you handle Uncle Howdy and don't fuck it up. So they have a match, Uncle Howdy versus Tama Tonga. Solo Sikoa tries to come out and help, but it ends up backfiring. Uncle Howdy takes advantage, and he picks up the win over Tama Tonga, which then after the match, Tama Tonga snatches the lantern from Solo Sikoa's hand and basically gives it back to good old Uncle Howdy.
I really hate saying this because you guys know me. I'm a Polynesian. I'm a very, 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 very fucking proud Polynesian. So I like to go out of my way no matter what's going on and support all of the Polynesian performers across all pro wrestling. It's just, I feel inclined to do it by just like the honor of, just the blood that we have. It's something that feels right. It's like when Black people go out to support Black actors, Black movies, Black culture. And I am half Black, but it's that same kind of thing. So when I see this, it fucking hurts me to sit here and say, this is my least favorite thing on SmackDown and has been for quite some time. I cannot care any less about the MFT Wyatt 6 story. My only thoughts on it are, I thought this fucking feud should have ended 3 goddamn times by now. And they continue to force it down our throats as if it's something we're entertained by. It has gone on. I thought that the worst feud I have had to suffer through in the last year was a 6-month gridlock of Aleister Black and Damian Priest. This has made me long for Damian Priest and Aleister Black to have continued, because I would rather watch 3 more months of that bullshit than watch another fucking week of MFTs versus Wyatt 6. And it's not the guys' fault. They are all doing the best they can with this. They are giving themselves fully into the story. But Jesus fucking tap dancing Christ, this story is garbage. It is being written like trash. It is stupid, the spooky crap. I am so done with it. I wish they would disband both teams because I just can't anymore. I can't be brought to care about either team. And the thing that sucks is I love all these people and I just can't be bothered to see them feud anymore. I'm done with it. Please end it. Please, please, please.
I also love every person involved in this. Solo is great. The Tongans, both of them, great. Tala Tonga, stupid name, but still great. Same thing with JC Mateo. Again, very stupid name, but still great. Everybody involved with the Wyatt set, great. But I'm hoping that this is the end of it, because overall, Tama Tonga was right. Ever since getting this lantern, this, once again, an entire feud over an inanimate object in which we have made it time and time again clear that this shit needs to stop with the inanimate object. But still, Tama Tonga overall is right. That lantern has caused nothing but problems inside of the MFTs and outside. So at that point, getting rid of the lantern was the best shot. Even though Solo clearly hated it, you could tell by the way that he wanted to go after Bo Dallas specifically for that lantern. That was clearly the best move, and I'm hoping that this, as small as it is, finally ends this stupid feud over the goddamn lantern.
The only positive thing I can see coming out of all of this that I'm hoping to God comes out of this is a Tama Tonga singles run. That's the only thing I'm really hoping for. He's the most interesting character and wrestler throughout all of this. Before he went away on injury and then they repackaged the MFTs the way they are now, he was the most over guy in the MFTs. The crowd was with him chanting his yeah thing. They cheered for him. They liked him. And then they killed half his momentum when they put him in this shit. So I'm really just hoping that this ends up with Tama being excommunicated from the group. Maybe a match or two with Solo, a mini feud. Let Tama go on a singles run.
All right, y'all. Up next, we were supposed to hear from the new United States champion, Sami Zayn. And he was talking to Nick Aldis backstage, making his way to the ring, and Nick Aldis was like, "Hey, you're gonna go out there, talk to the people, champ. Yep, you got my pyro ready. Yep, we got you pyro. It's gonna be nice. You're gonna get cheered. It's gonna be a celebration." And right when Sami was about to hit the ring, let them horns sound. Trick Williams music, whoop that trick goes off, and he stole Sami's spotlight. Trick Williams was accompanied by Lil Yachty, and he took Sami's pyro. He's like, "Hey, hit that pyro, hit Sami's pyro for me because I'm going to be at WrestleMania." Sami Zayn comes out. They cut a promo on each other. Trick Williams tells no lies here. He's like, "Look, Sami, the only reason you're going to WrestleMania is because of me. The only reason you have that championship is because of me. Thank you, Trick Williams. You're welcome, Sami." And then Carmelo Hayes music hit, and I'm thinking about Tommy this whole time because we talked about this, right? We were like, we're going to get a triple threat match out of this, right? Go on out there, Carmelo. Call your shot. You deserve a WrestleMania moment. Go out there and get it. Nope, that didn't happen. This segment was to set up the main event, a one-on-one match between Sami Zayn and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes gets his rematch, and if he wins the U.S. Championship, and he can face Trick Williams at WrestleMania. And there he goes. Go ahead, Tommy.
I'm going to very quickly bring this up because at this point, it is confusing as all hell. Is the rematch clause fucking instated or not? Because at this point, so many former champions, right after losing their title, is getting a damn rematch right off the bat.
Well, Tommy, I think one of the main reasons Carmelo got a rematch here was because he basically got screwed over last week.
I mean, yeah, that works. And that explains why he's getting a rematch. That does not explain why half the other damn champions did too.
Yeah, and we've been over that.
Yeah. The rematch clause is extremely confusing. Is it instated? Is it not? We don't know at this point. It should just go. But why did Lil Yachty have to be? Is my biggest question besides the rematch clause. Why is Lil Yachty here in the damn first place? It is the Travis Scott entrant all over again. Of why are you are a random singer. It makes no sense. But Lil Yachty is Lil Yachty. I guess he wanted to be with Carmelo Hayes. But this did set up the main event for that. I am just so pissed that Nick Aldis didn't come out and say, you know what? You did get screwed over, Carmelo Hayes. So this is what's going to happen. You are being added into that United States title match at WrestleMania. Make it a triple. That's what literally everyone has wanted ever since he lost it last week. I want the damn triple threat, and a lot of other people do as well. Carmelo Hayes absolutely deserves it. Make it a triple threat.
All right, so it's going to wind up being a triple threat anyway. I'm pretty sure because there's still 2 weeks to go to Mania, and I'm sure it's going to result in a triple threat either way. I just don't see it not being that. When it comes to the rematch clause, right? I understand what you're talking about, Tommy, but this isn't that. A rematch clause is like, oh, hey, I lost. Let me go bitch to the GM to give me a rematch clause, or I'm going to call my shot for a rematch. Carmelo didn't call his shot for a rematch. Carmelo basically goaded Sammy into giving him one and got the audience to push Sammy into doing it. Sammy accepted the rematch to shut the audience up and to wipe the slate clean to prove that he deserved to be the champion, whether Trick was involved or not. So this isn't like your normal, oh, I'm getting my rematch clause, you have no choice. It was him asking for a rematch clause under the guise that, Sammy, you did me dirty, you should do the right thing, because, yada, yada, yada. And Sammy going, okay, well, now he's touching a nerve, checking my ego, and now the audience is kind of backing me into a corner. Okay, sure, I'll do it. So it's not the same thing as a normal rematch clause. I don't know why Little Yachty was here. I'm going to assume maybe he's from that city. And maybe he's just a celebrity guest because he is from there. Or he's got some he's one of the soundtrack artists for WrestleMania 42. So they're promoting him. I mean, genuinely, WWE didn't just randomly have celebrities in the ring unless it's some kind of promotion. So I don't know if he's on the WWE's WrestleMania soundtrack this year or something. Or he's promoting a tour. I don't fucking know. Something with Netflix. I don't fucking know. But he was unnecessary, I can tell you that. Other than that, this segment was fine. I don't genuinely overly care about most of this. I know the match at Mania is going to be good. I know it's going to be a triple threat. I can tell it's going to wind up in a triple threat regardless. But we will have to see what happens in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, Lil Yachty, it's WrestleMania season. I mean, this is a time where WWE always brings in celebrities. He's going to be at WrestleMania. Trick Williams and Lil Yachty announce it in this segment. He's also a huge WWE fan. They show him on TV a lot. I think Lil Yachty's from Minnesota. I don't know how far that is from St. Louis, but yeah, he's always at the WWE shows. So I wasn't too surprised, especially because Trick Williams name dropped him last week. He's like, I got to call my mama. I'm going to be at WrestleMania. Oh, I got to call Ash. Oh, and I got to call Lil Yachty. So Lil Yachty's going to be in Trick Williams' corner. And it's cool, man. It adds more to the presentation of Trick Williams, I think. Was he a little annoying? Yes. Is his voice annoying? Yes. But he's famous and people know who he is.
I mean, I know who Lil Yachty is, but I have a better taste in music. So I don't know too much about him. I listen to good rap. But other than that, this was fine.
Well, you're cool, Mr. All
right. My music taste is.
All right. This was pretty cool, actually. I actually really enjoyed this. Aleister Black versus Matt Cardona. One-on-one match. I like that they're using Matt Cardona in the main roster here in a spot like this versus Aleister. Matt Cardona was still selling the injured arm that Randy Orton damaged the last couple of weeks. So Aleister Black had the upper hand and he picked up the win versus good old Matthew.
At first I wasn't happy about this because I was like, dude, why do you guys keep feeding, Matt Cardona to people? The only person that I can think of that he's actually beat since he came back is fucking Kit Wilson. Like, this is Matt, got him 20-year plus veteran, by the way. Okay. Former Intercontinental Champion, by the way. King of the Indies, by the way. And the only person he's able to beat since he's been back is Kit. So I'm like, why do you guys keep feeding him to people? You're feeding him to Aleister Black, by the way. One of the few guys in the roster who to me is equal to that of Rusev on Raw that none of the fans seem to give a shit about. He's been back for nearly the same amount of time and no one can be bothered to even make a reaction or a noise for the guy, even though he's wildly fucking talented, extremely good. His presentation, his first WWE run was 10 times better. He was a bigger threat, a bigger star the first time around. And WWE locked him in a dead-end feud with, Damian Priest for 6 months, and people just couldn't care less anymore. Then I realized, well, hold on. The longer the match went on, I was like, okay, well, they're giving Matt a lot of offense. Like, he's actually keep putting up a good fucking fight. He's shutting down a lot of Aleister's stuff, and he's doing it basically with one arm. So I realized, okay, well, they're actually protecting Matt this entire match by letting him put up such a competitive fucking fight while he's down an entire left arm. I thought, well, this actually just kind of proves how tough Matt Cardona is. And yeah, he lost, and he lost clean to a heel, which is totally fine. It's actually one of the few times I've seen a heel beat a babyface clean in such a competitive match. But, he fought his ass off. It did put Alistair over. Alistair looked great. Surprise on that freaking black mass. But I think that Matt took the loss in a great way because it proved how good he is, that it took Alistair such a long time to beat an already injured opponent. It took him that long to put him away, and it was quite a fight to fucking get there. So I think this was actually good for both men in the long run, and I think both men came out of this looking a lot better.
And then we had a women's tag team match. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, or Charlexa, or whatever they call themselves, versus Lyra and Bayley. Any thoughts, Mr. Blood, on this?
I actually thought it was a pretty decent match. Here's the thing. Like, a lot of last year, SmackDown got a lot of things wrong. I think a lot of people can agree on that. One thing SmackDown did right, and that Raw then took, a follow on, was building up this women's tag division. It very quickly last year became one of the most watchable things on SmackDown when SmackDown was not very watchable for most of last year. I think these women are great. I think they've been doing a great job with this division. It is one of the matches I am looking forward to at Mania because there are so many talented women in this match, and the majority of them are all former world champions, multi-time, by the way. I'm so excited for it. And anytime I get to see any of the four horsewomen mix it up in a match, I get eat, right? Because, people forget, especially newer fans who aren't aware or haven't gone back, don't realize the impact that Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks had on WWE's women's division in the mid-2010s. And so when I get to see Charlotte and Bayley mix it up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Two of the fucking best in the business going at it. I thought it was fine. The finish was a little weird. I know they like to do the stereo. Charlotte's my favorite, and I'm blanking on her move. It's basically it's a rolling neck breaker. But essentially, I didn't think that was going to pin Lyra Valkyria when I've watched her eat two manhandle slams.
Oh, yeah.
Kick out. So I was like, natural selection is what it's
there
called.
You go.
Natural selection pinned Lyra, and it wasn't even Charlotte's natural selection, which would be one of her follow-up moves before she hits her actual finish, which is the figure eight. So to see Lyra get beaten by essentially Alexa just basically doing a rolling neck breaker, a low blockbuster essentially, I was like, that pinned Lyra? So I thought the finish was stupid. But having the girls get beat down, they continue to make Lash and Nia, I'm not calling them by their dumbass tag name I've heard in a long time, watch them come out there and beat the girls down. They look strong. I felt bad for Bayley. Why are they always throwing Bayley to the fucking wolves? Why did she have to eat that fucking tag finish with the leg drop? That looked so brutal. But I was fine with this.
Overall, I was iffy. I know we're talking about the tag match. So that, for me, Lyra and Bayley deserve a whole lot better. I get it. They just got a tag title match. But at the same time, these two are the two that are always left on the bench. So at this point, Lyra and Bayley absolutely deserve better. Although going up against Charlexa, that in itself was still pretty big for them, especially for Lyra Valkyria being in the same ring as 3 former world champions. So
the curse is real, y'all. Man, yeah, okay. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but this whole thing with Danhausen was probably my favorite thing on the entire show after the whole Pat McAfee and Randy Orton thing with Cody Rhodes. We have a tag team title match. R-Truth and Damian Priest, which, by the way, R-Truth already is funny enough being out there. He's very entertaining, right? They face The Miz and Kit Wilson, two other really goofy guys. Sometimes, even though The Miz is former champion, he is pretty funny sometimes, very entertaining, right? And they've been cursed by Danhausen. Danhausen, before the match, tries to uncurse them, offers them that opportunity. I'm going to come out there with you guys, and I'm going to uncurse you guys. Kit and Wilson and The Miz turn him down. They're like, no. You stay away from the ring. You don't belong there. You stay back here. Stay away from us. So this whole entire time, the match is going on. I'm waiting for it. When is Danhausen going to come out? Where is he going to come out from? Is he going to come out from under the ring? What's going to happen, right? Danhausen music hits and he comes down to the ring and he pretends like he is part of the Miz and Kit Wilson tag team. He grabs the tag rope. He tells the Miz to tag him. He doesn't want to do it. So who tags him in? R-Truth, the other goofy guy in this match, right? And then Danhausen gets in the ring, which, by the way, this is probably the first time Danhausen steps foot in the ring during an active wrestling match, which I thought was pretty cool. We haven't seen him step in the ring before like this. And he's about to curse the Miz, and the Miz gets the referee in front of him to shield himself. So the referee gets the curse, right? The Miz takes advantage. He hits, I believe it's R-Truth with his finisher. The referee goes to count 1, 2. The referee hurts his arm thanks to Danhausen's curse, so he couldn't finish the count. The Miz had the match won. Referee hurt himself right before the 3 count. And then Damian Priest comes in. He hits his choke slam or whatever it's called on the Miz. 1, 2, 3. The champions retain. Thanks to Danhausen. The curse is real.
First things first, Damian Priest's finish is called South of Heaven.
Thank you.
Second off, yes, this was entertaining. I still think this is stupid. I'm sorry. I've gotten so used to WWE going more into the sports aspect of the last few years that my tastes for the goofy zaniness of pro wrestling have depleted. Because you got to understand, I've been watching WWE for 24 years.
Damn, you're old.
And I've been watching for 24 years since I literally, like, the GOAT class of professional wrestling in 2002. Like, we're the Randy Ortons, Batista, John Cena, Brock Lesnar. Like, I came in that year. And I got to be honest, I sat through some zany, cringy, corny Vince McMahon comedy in the 2010s, man. I've had my fucking fill. So when WWE started going more sports-oriented, more realistic reality TV-based, more pulling back the curtain, the goofy stuff started to lose its charm with me, because now I've been getting conditioned for several years to the more serious aspect of the storytelling. Though I appreciate Danhausen's commitment to the character and everybody around him's commitment to the funniness and zaniness, this can't last forever. The biggest problem with Danhausen is that if you have this guy come out every single week on Monday night, Friday night, and curse people every fucking week, eventually it's going to get old. At some point, fans are going to get quieter and quieter because it's the same shit for months and months and months and months on end, and they never see him in a match. At some point, you've got to get him in the ring. At some point, he has to wrestle, because I'm telling you, the reason R-Truth's goofy shit works so long, the reason Ron Simmons' damn works so long, Hornswoggle works so long, is because they use them every now and again. Not 2 times a week, every single week on every single show. Eventually, it's going to get old.
Blood, you hate it. I love it. I love Danhausen, man. I really do.
I don't hate it. It's just not for me anymore. It's not my type of pro wrestling.
I absolutely love this, especially with the fact that Danhausen is already being completely over with the crowd. In fact, every time he curses someone, not only does he say it, but you can hear the crowd say it too, as of late. So clearly, Danhausen is getting over with the crowd. And I absolutely love that for him because it works. It really does. And I cannot wait to finally see this man like actually wrestle in the ring because that's going to be fun to see. But I did find him cursing the ref specifically really, really dumb. Because if you look at how everyone else is with the curse, good old iShow Speed is literally getting thrown into his live stream setup by LA Knight not too long ago. His planes are getting delayed, everything else. But the biggest problem is, Danhausen, you just cursed a referee of the company. Not only does that screw him over, but that also screws literally anyone else who's in the ring with him over as well at any time. So other than that, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I get where Blood you're coming from with all of this, but also I feel like in some ways they are being careful with Danhausen and taking their time with him because like I said, like this is the first time he stepped foot in the ring since his debut, like officially during a match. Like he's been in the WWE for like what, 2 months now? He hasn't had a match.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. So it's been a while and he hasn't had a match yet. He hasn't been active in the ring until today. You know, so they're taking their time with him. So
all I'm saying is if he doesn't get in the ring for an actual feud at some point, you guys love it, right? You're saying it works, right? And I think it is working. Obviously, he's over. Of course it's working. But if he doesn't have a match in the next 8 months and he's on TV twice a week for the next 8 months on Raw and SmackDown, tell me if it still works then or if fans are going to finally start complaining.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's another risk that the WWE has to face at some point. Say that they do put him in a match, it'll be sometime soon, right? Or but within, what did you say, the next 8 months
8
or
months,
whatever? Yeah. What if he does and Danhausen ends up wrestling and the fans decide we don't like his wrestling. We don't want to see him wrestle.
Yeah,
they put him in a match and then it's like he loses his spark. I don't know.
Yeah, his aura. Here's case in point. Here's the thing. Wrestling fans are two-faced fucking bitches. Everybody wanted to see Jey Uso win the big one. Wanted to see Jey Uso win the Rumble. See Jey Uso win at WrestleMania. See Jey Uso become the champion. The moment he did, what'd they do? They fucking turned on. The moment Cody finished the story, fans started saying 2 weeks later, he should have lost. He should have turned heel. His title run's boring. It's been 2 weeks. Danhausen's been here for a month. The same fans who are all about him now, oh, you don't get Danhausen. You just don't understand his character and his gimmick. Oh, you just don't understand how it is. This is supposed to be what it is. In 8 months or in 3 months or whatever, they have him in that ring. Watch fans be like, I thought he'd be better. Or, oh, I don't really like his wrestling as much. I mean, he's funnier to backstage. They should have never put him in the ring. Oh, they should have never let him wrestle. Oh, this is what happens. They bring the AEW guys over. Oh, da. And they're going to turn on him. Because that's what WWE fans do. That's definitely what AEW fans do. Look at Chris Jericho. Turned on him. Look at CM Punk. Turned on him. Look at Cody Rhodes. Turned on him. If Danhausen stayed in AEW, how long would it have been until they turned on him? The question is in WWE, how long is it going to be before the fans turn on him here if they keep him out of the ring and out of feuds? You cannot have a character go years and just have him be a background character. Eventually, he's got to step in the ropes. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, there's a first time for everything, though.
There is, but it would grate on people's patience. Like I said, the only reason the R-Truth, the Ron Simmons, the fucking Hornswoggles worked so well for so long is because they were used sparingly in their goofy backstage segments. They weren't there every fucking week. They were surprises to pop funny moments. Vince McMahon understood restraint with those characters. If you threw them out there every week, R-Truth's not as funny every single week now, is he? He's funny when he comes in at random and does some.
Well, as funny and as stupid or entertaining or whatever you want to call it as this was, here comes Cody Rhodes to shit on everyone's parade and kill the good vibes in the party because Cody Rhodes was hot. And on his way to the ring, good old Kit Wilson was standing at the wrong place at the wrong time and eats a crossroads by Cody. I thought, that's kind of heelish, but okay. But then I remember Kit Wilson is he's a toxic heel, so he deserves it. He's also been cursed. That made sense to me. But yeah, Cody Rhodes' response to Pat McAfee and Randy Orton. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean that the business has gone to shit? What do you mean that I'm the reason why the business is heading to a bad direction? Let me remind you, I wrestled Cena at Mania, Roman Reigns. We've been breaking all these records. Everyone wants to be a part of the WWE. All these celebrities are coming in because we made this shit hot. What the fuck are you talking about, Pat McAfee? Cody Rhodes also has a point, you know? And he also addressed the fact that people are telling him, in order for you to beat Randy Orton, you got to be the bad guy. And he hears it. He sees the memes, the dark hair Cody Rhodes. The only thing about that is Cody Rhodes is afraid that he's not able to do that anymore. He doesn't know how because he has a family. He has 2 kids. He has a wife. He doesn't know if he can go that far in, you know, with the whole heel bad guy type thing. So I thought this was a great promo by Cody.
It was a great promo. And honestly, I didn't say this before. I'm surprised they let I'm surprised they let Pat do that promo the way he did it. The amount of cursing. Remember, this isn't Netflix. That was USA, right? That's USA domestically. Internationally, it's Netflix, but we're talking about the States. He dropped F-bombs. He's dropped S-bombs. He fucking called out the WWE's low WrestleMania ticket sale. Shit, I didn't think they'd ever let anybody bring up on their program and say to the audience and call themselves out. That's a ballsy move, WWE. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I don't even know if Pat was supposed to say that. I'm wondering if they're just as surprised as we are because he went out there and shot from the hip and just started bringing up stuff he maybe wasn't supposed to say. I can't wait to see what the wrestling reports are in the next couple of days, next week, to see if the reports are that he went off script, because that doesn't sound like anything WWE would ever let anybody go out there and promote all the negativity around the company right now. If that was scripted, that's a ballsy fucking. But to help with Cody, to Cody's credit, he's right. Like, what are you talking about? They've been very hot. And honestly, the biggest problem with WWE has been TKO itself. It hasn't been the superstars or anything. It's been the writing of SmackDown has been a problem. It's been the repetitive nature of long-form storytelling, which seems to take, a little too long to tell a story. And it's been TKO. WWE, like, you're the reason we're not selling out WrestleMania. Actually, the reason you're not selling out WrestleMania is because you're returning to the same town 2 years in a row that you scorned the main event last year, in a market that the tourism has declined well over 30% in the last 2 years because of inflation. And you saturated the market last year, and now you're doing it again. But this time, you upped the price 25 to 30% per ticket. That's why you didn't sell out. Putting it on Cody Rhodes in kayfabe is such a bitch move. Trying to put it on him and make it his fault because he's the face of your company rather than take ownership, that pisses me off, because you're trying to distract people from the real reason that you guys have been fucking up as a company, and you're trying to have Pat McAfee and Story blame Cody Rhodes. What a bitch.
I will say the one line that had me laughing a little bit is when Cody ended up calling Pat McAfee Logan Paul with no muscles. It's like, when he said that, I started chuckling a little bit, because I'm like, okay, that's a little bit funny. But as Blood said earlier, and I do completely agree with this, and Cody did bring this up, the last thing I would want happen to me is being kicked in the balls by a former NFL punter. That is the last thing I would ever want to happen. But Cody Rhodes just went through that, and he full-blown said, yeah, and I felt it. I really did. I felt the fact that you're a former punter. So that is it there as well.
He tried to erase Cody's whole bloodline, bro. He tried to spawn delete his future kids.
And then the main event, y'all. The main event, Sami Zayn defended his U.S. Championship versus the former champion Carmelo Hayes. Trick Williams and Lil Yachty were ringside. And again, man, this whole time I was like, man, I hope they set this up for as a triple threat match. I want to see Trick Williams get involved, you know, the typical wrestling angle that they usually do. Oh, Trick Williams is ringside, right? So they were teasing us from the beginning, but nope, Trick Williams does not get involved at all in this match. It was a clean one-on-one. Well, kind of clean, because at some point during this match, Carmelo Hayes tweaked the knee a couple times. The second time, the referee goes to check on him. Carmelo is selling. He's selling. Sami Zayn goes up to Carmelo to keep, inflicting damage. The referee stops Sami Zayn. He's like, whoa, hold on. Let me check on him. He's not doing okay. So Sami Zayn backs up. He waits a few seconds, and then he hits Carmelo Hayes with his haluva kick, even after the referee told him not to. So Sami Zayn kind of saw an opening, and he took it, which he got booed for that because Carmelo Hayes was not paying attention. He was weak. He was hurt. The referee told him not to do it. So Sami Zayn kind of came off like a dick here. He pinned Carmelo Hayes 1, 2, 3 and retained. So as of right now, it's still looking like we're going to see Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams.
It's got to be a triple threat because the only reason they would do that finish is to give Carmelo grievance to get into the match because he's now been screwed twice. At the end of the day, it'll be a triple threat. But this is also the finish. I hate finishes like this because to me, they're a little stupid, right? It's a little contrived. The ref already told Sami, don't touch him. Sami haluva kicks him anyway. The ref didn't have to count the pin. If he was still checking on Carmelo, he could have been like, hey, I'm not doing this. I told you he's hurt. Let me check on him. He could have refused to count the pin. But instead, the ref counted the pin. So I hate finishes like this because it doesn't make sense. If you're concerned about the guy, why would you then let the pinfall happen if you're basically calling a timeout on the match? And calling a timeout would mean you need to call a time in. So I thought that was dumb. Glad Trick and Yachty didn't get involved. We're definitely seeing a heel Sami coming up here pretty soon. These cracks are showing. And here's the thing, too. They'll probably turn him heel and have him be a heel all the way up until next year before they go to Saudi for Mania 43. And then he'll be the baby face going into that, I can imagine. But they probably want to turn him heel to make him fresh for the next, the next 10 to 11 months. So then when they turn him babyface again, it's earned in front of the big Saudi crowd where they're probably going to finally crown the man champion, world champion, that is. But this was fine. It was a good main event, good match. I just thought the ending was anticlimactic because it just doesn't make fucking sense. That's about it.
Overall, at the very beginning of the match, I'm like, I would be fine with either of these options. I clearly had a preference over it because I kind of wanted Carmelo Hayes to get that title back and for those two to have their one-on-one since they go back to NXT, that being Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So I would not mind a one-on-one between those two again. But Sami Zayn ended up winning it, which means he's still guaranteed that spot. I also do have a feeling like maybe next week or the go-home show to Mania, we find out, hey, it's a triple threat now. So with that being said, the match itself was great for me. I clearly had a preference on my win.
All right, well, that was the shenanigans of this week's Friday Night SmackDown with the Snug Wrestling crew, like always. What a fun time it is to talk pro wrestling with y'all. And if you're new to the show, thank you for hanging out with us. Please follow us everywhere. Check us out on Apple and Spotify and all that good stuff. And we will be back again this weekend because we got Stand and Deliver. We got AAA. We got a special guest, a very, very special guest tomorrow. But stay tuned for that. I'm sure you guys know who this guy is. But yeah, let's get the fuck up out of here.
Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. That, of course, is, I believe, the April 3rd. We're in April now. God damn. The April 3rd, 2026 episode of Friday Night SmackDown. We are 15 days away from WrestleMania. If you guys like hanging out with us and kicking it with us every single week, you can do so after Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air respectively for live post-show reviews. Then, of course, head over to any of our social media channels to check out our live segment-to-segment reactions that happen during the actual shows while they're on the air. Of course, you can also hang out with us every Thursday night on TikTok Live at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific, where myself, Mr. Blood, and the head of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, go one-on-one for 1 hour for random or relevant wrestling topics, and we also answer your fan questions live. And of course, this Sunday evening, we will be having the review for NXT Stand and Deliver. That will be between our beloved Tommy and, again, the head of Snug Wrestling, Edgar. So stay tuned for that and be checking out the socials for when that will be going live. And speaking of live, if you ever do miss our shows while we're live, we are always live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. But if you ever miss the shows, they're always uploaded to YouTube after, and you can always follow us on Apple and Spotify, where we've got over 400 episodes of Snug Wrestling just in the last year, guys. So then head on over to teepublic.com. That is teepublic.com/snug-wrestling for your Snug Wrestling merchandise, where you can pick up your Snug Wrestling merch and support your favorite professional wrestling podcast. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. Tommy, I said that was one time for the one time. That was 4 letters.
4 letters. One word.
Peace.